The headlines promise the ceasefire, but data tells a different story. As the US delegation leaves Islamabad without a deal, the peace narrative is officially dead. While the world watched the talks, Israel launched Operation Eternal Darkness in Lebanon. Today we look at the ghost blockade in the Strait of Hormuz and why gold is at 4,700. He is telling you the war is only just begun. The Strait of Hormuz isn't open. It's been held for ransom. Iran is demanding $1 million per barrel per vessel, and the US Navy is now clearing mines by force. This isn't a truce, it's a siege. For the G8 currencies, this means one thing: energy inflation is permanent. That is why the 26-week COT index we have is screaming sell the euro and buy the dollar. On the euro USD is quite interesting. This is our supply zone, and we've been looking at this rally. Yes, so this rally is heading to a supply. You can see this on your weekly chart. So I'm looking at this short from this point down to this other end. The biggest shock of the week, the Canadian labor data that was released on Friday. Despite the GDP contraction, wages went up to 4.7%. The Bank of Canada can't cut rates while people are getting paid this much. So the card has moved from a victim to a fighter. We are looking at a massive short squeeze as speculators realize they were on the wrong side of the loonie. I'm looking at weakness in the euro because of the energy prices. So remember I talked about looking at this guy coming to the downside. Well, unfortunately we had this push up, which is not too bad. I'm looking at a push to this area, and then we might start looking for the short. This is on daily time frame. On the daily, what we have is this demand. If on Monday you see a push here, you can buy to this point, then we'll look for shorts. So I'll look for shorts at this other end of the chart. So why also is because if we look at my indicator, we are at the extreme of my indicator, so I'm expecting a push to this other side. That is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at pound Swiss because of you have to follow the 4.9% yields on the pound, and then we are looking at the Swiss is now a funding currency, just like the yen. So I will have my pound Swiss. If this should happen, I would love to short it from here. Why? Because the pound, they're not looking to cut rates anytime soon. That's one. Although they have their data in the next future, some 2 weeks from now, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll be looking at if there's a potential to short, then we'll be shorting the week. And we have the card yen due to card strength. So yes, last week I talked about price heading to this point before we could long, but yes, price has gone higher. Now I would like to long from here, or I would long from here, but remember the yen is actually the yen is strong in a sense because they're looking to hike in the future, but just not yet. And then the next thing is that we'll be looking on the COT index of 26 weeks. We are looking at potential yen flip to longs. Looking at our Dixie again. So Dixie on the weekly time frame, we are bullish on Dixie. Look at this. So I'm bullish on the Dixie. This was a break of structure. So this was our last low. So we have this. Looking at this, price bounced here, and now we are looking at price coming to this point. And the demand I have is at this other end. So this is what I'm expecting the market to do. And if you look at this on your daily time frame, already we are closer to a demand, so I expect a push from here. We have the USD card as one of my high probability in terms of Dixie. So yes, price is bouncing from my supply zone, but if you look at it, from my RSI, 80 overbought. So if you look at it, we are heading to our zone of buying. Sorry, it was oversold. I'm looking to buy at this point. So this, I gave this out last week. So we have a pullback now, just as we expected last week, and then still on gold. So dollar variables, we have gold. I talked about gold longs last week, and I'm still looking at this point because there is no good talks from Iran and the US. We have the AJ as part of it. One of the Aussie is still bullish. Overall, it's bullish. Looking at this, I'm looking at this demand. Yes, so I expect price to continue higher from this point. Yes, we have the AUD USD. It looks good too. You can just watch this. The AUD USD, you can watch it on your watch list. It has the potential of dropping. Yes, so BTC, yes, I've been talking about this for quite some time. Yes, I actually expected this short from here, but last week I talked about price heading up to this other supply for us to see a short. Market went there and mitigated the area, so I'm still looking at shorts to this point, and this is the second confirmation. The third confirmation is that the Fed Reserve are not looking to cut throughout this year. In fact, they're currently at 97.8% for a no cut at all for the next meeting on the CME page. I have the UK 100. I talked about this last week. So I expect a pullback here, and then we continue rallying to the upside. And the last but not the least, we have the GJ, and I'm looking at GJ longs from here to the upside, while we are already bullish. Now, just in case there is a JPY intervention, I expect this price to go a little bit higher before we can start looking for a short. That will be when Bank of Japan hikes, surprisingly, or some form of intervention. So with that, the Islamabad talks failed. Watch for the Monday gap in the crude and in the dollar. Subscribe to Macrocrest. Stay ahead of the war regime. Stay certain. See you at the opening bell.